welcome to the presentation for ankle taping. And this is ankle taping for inversion sprains. So most ankle sprains are considered an inversion sprain. And what this means is that the foot turns inward with the ankle going outwards. And this ends up spraining the ligaments on the outside of the ankle. Okay? You can also have an eversion sprain, where the ankle goes inwards, the foot goes outwards. This damages the ligaments on the inside of the ankle. Now, this is less common because the ligaments on the inside of our ankle are stronger. So we're going to concentrate on inversion sprains, which are the most common sprain in the whole body and certainly the most common sprain in the ankle. Now, the position we want to tape in is a position of function. Okay? The most functional position for the ankle, the position we can do most things in, is 90 degrees of flexion. Okay? Dorsiflexion is where we pull the toes up. Plantar flexion is where the toes point downwards. This position with the toes pointing downward is the position of most comfort for the foot. And certainly if an ankle has been sprained, that's a position of comfort. But we're going to get people to pull up into a little bit of dorsiflexion so they're in this 90-degree position. Okay? Now, the easiest position to have them in is sitting on a table or a bed with their leg part way off the table. So about mid-calf is where you want the edge of the table to be so that you have full access to the whole ankle area. Now, there are a couple of pre-steps. They're things that are not necessary to do, but things you might notice. Oftentimes, you'll see people spray the whole foot and ankle with a substance like tough skin. And what this does is it actually makes the skin more sticky, so it allows the tape to stick for longer. It's not necessary, but you certainly can do it. The other thing is applying heel and lace pads. These are really small, thin pads. They generally have a little bit of lubricant on the inside like Vaseline. And they're applied over the tendons on the front of the ankle and the Achilles tendon at the back so that you get less pressure points in there. Again, they're not mandatory, but you can use them. Where we're going to start is with the Pro Wrap. Pro Wrap simply goes over top of the skin and it helps protect it. So it doesn't matter whether you start at the top or the bottom. All you're going to do is just wrap continuously around the foot. You don't have to worry about covering the heel, okay, but you want to try and cover as much of the skin as you can. It just rips, so it's quite easy to stop the wrapping. The next step is the anchors. Now, when we tape, the tape isn't going to stick to the skin very well, and it's not going to stick to the Pro Wrap in a way that's going to be supportive. So what we need to do are anchors, and anchors allow us to put something on the skin in Pro Wrap that we can then attach the other tape to. So when we start with an ankle tape job, we're going to tape one anchor at the foot, and we're going to tape 3 anchors up at the leg. This picture is showing the foot. And to put this anchor on, if you work your way down from the pinky toe, you'll find right around where they've marked this black spot, there's a bump of bone. And this is where you want to start the anchor because it's the place where you have the most bone going across the foot. If we're too far into the arch, it's easy to squish the foot, and that's not going to be comfortable for the person using the tape job. So we're going to wrap one wrap of tape around there and rip. When it comes to the leg, we want to be about 4 to 6 inches above the ankle bones, so the bones that stick out on each side. 4 to 6 inches up. You don't want to be into the calf muscle very much, so we're trying to be below the bulk of the calf muscle, but high enough up the ankle that we're getting some good leg support. You're going to start on the shin bone, go down, around the back, and back up, and then you rip. Okay, it's not a continuous around and around, it's down, around, and rip. Then you're going to move down half the width of the tape. Again, start at the shin bone, down, around, and up, and rip. And a third one, again, half the width of the tape, down, around, and up. These are our 3 anchors, and they give us a really good base to apply all of the other tape. Now the half overlap is so that we have really good tension in the tape, and we're not having bits of skin that are sticking out between pieces of tape. The other thing that's important in this area is that you're not going to be able to have tape go all the way around the leg and be in the same line. Because of the bulk of the muscle of the calf, you need to angle the tape down. So you're going to start higher up in the shin, move downwards as you move back, around the back, and then it'll come naturally back up to where you started. That will change as you go down the ankle. But as we start here, it's going to look like a chevron where it meets at the front here. Now we're going to get into the parts of the tape job that actually provide support for the ankle. The first ones are stirrups. So the stirrup is actually going to help pull this side of the foot out to the side so that we're protecting all of these ligaments here. So what you're going to do is start on the anchors on the other side, on the inside. You're going to go down under the heel and pull up on this side. Rip the tape. We're going to do 3 of these, all in the same position. Okay, so these are the stirrups. The next piece is the fill. This works to hold the stirrups that we just put on, and it also works to try and cover the rest of the ankle in here so that there aren't big holes where there isn't tape. This is basically exactly the same as the 3 anchors you did at the beginning. You're going to start halfway down the last one that you had here, around, behind, and back up. Now you cannot just continually wrap and wrap and wrap. It needs to be 1 around and back up and rip, 1 around and back up and rip, all the way down to the ankle. You can see here that this tape is just sitting at the very top of the ankle bones. Now we get into the 2 most important applications for an ankle sprain. The first is the figure 8. The figure 8 is going to hold the ankle in this position, and that's really important in an ankle sprain situation because it's the position of the most strength and stability for the ankle. What you want to do, you'll be in this position looking over top of their ankle, and your figure 8 is going to start right here in the middle of the joint. It's very important that you go in one direction, so that's why the arrow is on the tape. You're going to start here, go around behind the leg, back out to the middle, cross that middle, go down under the foot, and come back up and rip. So you went around behind and back out, down around the foot, and back up, rip. You're going to do at least 1, if not 2, of these figure 8s, exact same pattern, exact same placement. The next one is the heel lock, and this is going to prevent the heel from turning in and out, which is that position which creates an ankle sprain. You're going to start on the shin bone. You're going to go down behind the ankle bone or the heel, come back up and rip. So down around behind the heel, back up and rip. It does not matter if these 2 pieces of tape meet each other. It matters that you've gone down and around and come back up the same side. Then you want to move to the other side of the ankle and do the exact same thing. Down around behind and back up. You need to do at least 1 heel lock on each side. You can also do 2. If someone has more severely sprained their ankle or feels like they want more support, you want to put more on. The last piece is the close. The first part of a close is to make sure you don't have any big holes where you can see down to the pro wrap and the skin. It's very important because this will actually cause tape cuts where the skin will push through and rub against the tape. Now you can't just, if you had a hole here, you can't just take a little piece of tape and stick it over top. You would actually need to do a long strip that covers it and comes back up like a stirrup. When you're done that, the last thing is to reapply the anchors that we did at the beginning. You're trying to cover all of the loose pieces of tape so that they can't just be pulled and the tape job come apart. You can reapply the anchor on the foot, and you need to reapply the 3 separate anchors that went on the leg. If you have someone who has sprained the inside of their ankle, there are things to do to change the tape job. The only piece you're going to do differently is the stirrups. So you remember that the stirrups go from the inside at the leg anchor down around the heel and back up the outside. We did 3 of them the same direction. What you're going to do is do 2 one direction, 2 the other direction. This is so that you've provided some support to the inside of the ankle. But you are not going to change any other pieces in the tape job. So a quick review. We did the pro wrap, the anchors on the leg and the foot, the 3 stirrups, the fill, 1 to 2 figure 8s, 1 to 2 heel locks each way, covered any holes, and then closed. So I'm going to now go through the YouTube video of the ankle taping. This is a live feed of taping an ankle, so I'm just going to walk you through it as it plays. So here we are off the edge of the table in the right position. We're going to put the pro wrap on. It just wraps around quite nicely. It's quite easy to use, so it's not a big deal. Now you're going to grab your tape. You're going to start just a little bit on the skin. And again, you can see that angling downwards. You can see the overlap of half. So we have 3 anchors on the leg. And this is the 1 anchor on the foot. You can see that it's right at the back of the arch. Now the next piece is the stirrups. So we start on the inside of the ankle, around under the heel, back up the side. You're going to do 3 of these. They can all be right on top of each other, and they all go the same direction when you're doing an E-version ankle sprain. Now the next piece is the fill. You need to start like that right at the bottom of your anchors. There'll usually be 2 or 3 wraps around, sometimes for tall people 4 wraps around, just so you're at the top of the ankle bones. The next piece is the figure 8. Again, right from the middle, around behind, cross, down around the foot, and back up and rip. Okay? Again, from the middle, around the back, cross, around the foot, and back up and rip. Now we have the heel locks, so it's down around behind the heel, back up the same side. Again, you can see there the tape didn't match, but it doesn't matter. And then the other side, down around behind the heel, and back up. There's 2 on each side, so around behind the heel, back up the same side, same on the other side. Then you're going to reapply your anchors. Make sure that all of your tape ends are covered. And there you are. So next in this series we have arch taping followed by Achilles tendonitis taping. And for more information on healthy living or to see my other courses, please check out thehealingpath.com.